Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you're here. Today is a little different video. I have been going through my knives, again, like I told you guys before, looking at different ways to break up and come up with different videos. And one of the things I've been thinking about was who or which company, which group has added or have I sought out more knives from this year, i.e., who's been the most prolific knife designer, maker, company this year, and how that appeals to my personal taste. And after some long thought, and it really didn't take a lot of long thought, I was kind of surprised when I deducted it out and went from, you know, who's brought out a lot of knives to who's brought out a few. And I'm going to have to say my most prolific knife company, i.e., who's offered more knives to more parts of the different knife buying market, i.e., different price points, over 2023. And I'd be curious if you guys can come up with anybody that, more worthy than the one I have, which is Devo Knives. I look at Devo knives not only as knives that I really enjoy, even the ones that are price points that have kind of passed me by. They're more value engineered knives that I normally don't find myself carrying as much on the daily. I still carry this Growler V2, which was about a $99 knife, quite a bit. It's one of my favorite knives in terms of its cutting geometry, its size, the way it fits my hand, the way the ergos suit me, the way it therapeutically slices paper like nobody's business, breaks down cardboard, breaks down really anything I would ever in my daily task have to break down. It's got a very pokey tip, kind of a full-size medium knife. And guys, I'm just going to be showing y'all the Devos that I have bought. All of these I bought with my money, even the ones I'm going to talk about that I don't have in the collection anymore, but they do fall into this logic of why I think Devo Knives has brought more to the market this year than anybody else. The Growler V2 came on the heels of the Growler V1, which was a last year knife. It improved over the current Growler in a lot of different ways, little small ways like the narrowing of this deployment hole, the jimping, the materials going to 154 cm, the handle materials, just an absolute banger of a value knife. Under $100 after discount and just a winner. So that is one knife where Devo went after what I consider to be the mainstream, people who aren't looking to spend a lot on a knife, but still offering quality tool, fantastic knife with a lot of the characteristics that a lot of knife lovers really like. And on the heels of this knife, I was not a fan or an owner of the original Stout or the Stout V2. It just didn't really speak to me. The Pony Stout I picked up. I fell in love with it. I love that knife. Hung on to that knife for almost a year until a knife that's going to come up here shortly came out. And I picked up more than one and had to make room in my case. So my little micarta and black Pony Stout was given away on a Friday Night Flicks to somebody in the chat. And it wasn't because I didn't love the knife. It was just because I needed to make room for more Devo knives that I'd purchased. But the first one that I look at in 2023, and I'm not in order. It's not, Lefty would probably definitely correct me. But I know the Devo or the Growler V2 was a 2023 knife. Absolute banger. And it is part of the reason why Devo Knives is my knife company of the year. Secondly, was the first MASH that I got. This is the MASH V2. If I'm not mistaken, the MASH V1 was very popular, but came out in early 2023. So I think in addition to the Growler V2, the Pony Stout, and this Mash V2 that I picked up. I think the Mash V1 was also a 2023 knife. This particular little specimen is in 154 cm, titanium. I think it's OEM by Kubi. It has a really nice hollow ground blade. I love all the Devo blade shapes, with the exception of one that will remain nameless, but that's just my personal jam. But I did like its little brother. But guys, all these knives are engineered to be comfortable in the hand, to be great EDC knives, and most importantly, to be functional cutting tools. And the Mash V2 came in, if I want to remember correctly, I added the lynch clip because I already had a lynch clip, but I'm a big fan of the wire clip. I want to say this knife was around $115 in titanium, but it is the Devo Mash V2, another knife that came out kind of in that value priced area of a quality knife, really good materials at a very fair price. And that's the Mash V2. And that was another Devo that I brought into my collection in 2023 that I found to be very desirable. And that's the Growler V2, the Mash V2, and the Pony Stout. And then things got interesting. Then the Nip was born, came out. So the Nip was a knife that I'd been interested in ever since Lefty first began talking about it. A small knife with a flipper tab, a deployment hole, deep hollow ground, very quality ergos for a small knife, actually designed, I think, perfectly for a small knife, and that says a lot. But quality materials, S90V blade, this beautiful purple cow carbon fiber, and then you've got titanium accents around your pivot collar and a titanium clip. I like this little knife so much that Traditional Pocket Knives had an exclusive. The same S90V blade, titanium handles, titanium clip, titanium accents, stone washed S90V blade, and just a beautiful little knife. Same knife, just the Traditional Pocket Knives version. And then White Mountain Knives version was available. Guys, the only Nip I did not buy was the Jack Sparrow. And the Jack Sparrow, up until not too long ago, was still available. But I could not see enough difference between the Jack Sparrow and my my other Nips to really justify going after it, right? I did want the different blades. I did want the satin blade, but I think this is just perfect for my collection. And when I brought the first Nip in, everything was good. When I brought the second Nip in, everything was good. When I brought the third Nip in, I had to get rid of a knife to make room for it because I'm not going to get any more cases. I'm going to try to keep it to a manageable level, which is a joke. But that's why I got rid of the Pony Stout, guys, to give case room to my Nips. The Devo Nip, I would almost say, I can't say it's the best Devo of the year because there's so many other good ones, but what a beautiful, wonderfully constructed, wonderfully thought out little fifth pocket carry that punches way over its weight. This pisses Lefty off, but to me it's my little mini Jaeger. I love it. So moving on, we come to a knife that I picked up late that was released in 2023, but I picked it up after experiencing the Nip. Because like I told you guys, the Nip is kind of a, not a really value knife, but not a hyper premium knife, right? I want to say the Nip came in right around $175, and the Buzz was one of the Devo premium knives. Manufactured OEM by Best Tech, like the Stout that I didn't stylistically care for, but I knew that the price point, the quality, the materials were going to be similar, and I wanted to see if I would notice a difference. The reason I didn't buy this knife initially is in my limited mind, it was too similar to this in terms of holding a place in my collection. And the MASH V2 was such a good knife, I couldn't imagine how $150, $200 more could be that much better. Guys, I was wrong. It's just a simple difference in materials, workmanship, and OEM. This, if I'm not mistaken, was OEM by Kubi. I could be wrong. And this by Bestech. So when the buzz came in, I was not expecting to be blown away. I love the wire clip. That's something that's kind of consistent in the Devo knives. It's got a front flipper that I hate. However, as far as front flippers go, and I fucking hate front flippers, this one works very well. I did not, however, get it for the front flipper. I got it because it has a traditional thumb hole. I hate thumb flicking, but I like middle finger flicking. And this deployment slot I can get anywhere. Anywhere I put my finger, all I have to do is flick it. I don't have to think about it, and the knife deploys. It's got this super high quality, thick, nice lock bar. Locks this knife up like a vault. Inset liner lock. Wonderful, wonderful hand choil. The knife has got ergonomics for days. It's got a deep, deep hollow ground blade. I want to say this guy is in, I don't remember if it's L-Max, if it's S90V, if it's M390. And I know the blade steel is hidden there somewhere for me and I'm just not seeing it. 20CV, S90V, something nice. It's a good blade steel. It's a premium blade steel. And it's very, very sharp. So let's do a couple of quick cuts. And guys, just in the knives that I've shown you up until now, these are knives that have been released, i.e. come to market in 2023. And again, please, I'm not talking about Kershaw. I'm not talking about ZT, even though I think Devo probably put out more knives than ZT, new knives. I'm just thinking of who was as prolific with their designs and putting more designs that were well received, i.e. sold out, one after another with designs that were so radically different. Which brings us to the final Devo Lush that I picked up this year. This is the C. Reisner Cutlery, aka Traditional Pocket Knives, and Devo Knives collaboration, the Lush. Guys, when I got this knife in, I didn't really know as much what to expect because it's not my normal jam. I didn't pick up the Gunslinger Jack or the Midnight Jack just because the styles, I love the slip joints, but I wasn't all about a flippable traditional knife. Well, this knife, when it first came out, what attracted me to it was the way that the handle's designed. The way that the choil is integral into the handle. The way that the knife fits your hand, or my hand, like an absolute glove. I love this sheep's footy, deep hollow ground blade. Blade steel's S90V. You've got this beautiful, beautiful fat carbon. This is Arctic Storm or Arctic Frost or Arctic Chill or Arctic fucking something. It's not the color I wanted, but it was the color that was available when I got there. And let me tell you, I'm happy to have it. I think I wanted the 80s or the camo, whichever that was called. But I have no regrets once this came in. And the other thing, I'd seen a video from Lefty saying that this knife took a little time to get used to front flipping. So I didn't think I'd be able to front flip it because, as you guys know, I fucking hate front flippers. But this knife, you've got jimping right here on the front and you've got jimping right here on the top. So if I go to the front, I don't even have to think about it. There's nothing that's coming into contact with my finger back here. It is an absolute front flipping machine. I can do a reach over, which I can never do because of the way you've got that tab there. I can do a traditional front flip off the top. I can do a front flip off the front. Needless to say, it's made me almost want a front flip. But I can middle finger flick this knife, and that's the way I prefer to open it. And again, like the other Devos, this is a, if I'm not mistaken, a concept OEM project. but it is also very sharp, very slicey, has a great utility point, and is just a dream to carry. Drop shut action, beautifully thought out access to the lock bar. Yeah, guys, just a great pocket knife. So when I look at knife makers of the year, i.e. knife designers, i.e. knife companies, right? And who brought more to the market for Javon that I found interesting in my collection. Yeah, I'm friends with Lefty, but that's not going to make me buy his knives if I don't like his knives. That's real simple. And I always jokingly say if it wasn't for Colin, I probably wouldn't be buying Lefty's knives. And that is a joke because Lefty does as much, if not more, for what he brings to the table and what's going to sell. And they're just a good team. And I am, you could say, a fan, because I am. And the reason I'm a fan is because time after time, I've taken chances on knives that may have started out to support Lefty, to buy the knife, but then they're knives I didn't buy until I realized just from the merits of the knives that I had bought that I needed to give them a chance. And it's changed my perception on what Devo is. And, you know, guys, I'm just showing you a small sampling here. I don't have my pony stout, but what a hell of a year. Congratulations to Colin. Congratulations to Lefty. Congratulations to any of you guys who got to participate in any of these Devos. I'm sure they'll be coming back. That's another thing that Lefty and Colin do. They keep their finger on the pulse and they try to get more knives in that people want. I'd be interested to know what you guys think, guys. This is my honest, 100% objective opinion. It's also subjective because they're knives that I bought and I might not be paying attention to makers that I'm not aware of. But this is my company of the year, Devo Knives. Congratulations on a great year, guys. Look forward to see what y'all come up with next. And I love each and every one of you. All I ask is if you'll please look out for that guy or gal to your left. Please look out for that guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.